If you grew up in the 2000s, then you have more than likely seen or heard about this man. That's right, the Subway sandwich champion, Jared Fogle.
Mr. Fogle, no denying your body's changed over the years.
Yes.
Sir, this committee must know, did you ingest anything that helped create this change in your physique?
Yes.
Go on.
Usually a 6-inch turkey breast sub for lunch and a foot-long veggie delight for dinner.
Jared starred in so many Subway commercials where he would repeatedly spout the benefits of Subway.
My point is, only at Subway can you get a sandwich that tastes this good.
And it has just 6 grams of fat.
Thank you, whoever you are.
You're welcome, whoever you are.
Subway, eat fresh.
He'd hold his big speed sack pants up. That guy lost so much weight, very impressive.
That guy ate all the sandwiches he wanted and lost weight. He is so cool.
And he did it all because he had Subway every single day. Allegedly!
All this unknown guy who just announced he'd been eating a lot of Subways and had lost a lot of weight. And before we know it, Subway's business was completely transformed. They ended up making $8 billion or something ridiculous. You made yourself a millionaire. Do you still eat Subway sandwiches?
I do. I don't eat it every single day anymore, but I've learned, in moderation. I'll tell you, I've kept the weight off now for 15 years. I still probably average eating it 3 or 4 days a week.
I don't actually know. It's not like I'm gonna get sued if I say that. I just don't buy that he had Subway every day. That shit sucks. Who could eat Subway every day? The bread isn't even legally bread in Ireland, which is crazy. I digress. Jared created a massive sandwich empire, which is so fun to say, and it's true too. The man created a mega sandwich hegemony in the world of sandwiches and food, fast food.
I was 90 seconds into a 12,000-foot night jump. Go time. I pulled the ripcord. Nothing happened. I pulled the backup cord. Nothing. So I thought to myself, what would Jared do?
The success of all the commercials that he starred in led to many sales with Subway. He became a millionaire because of the campaigns that he was a part of. He also probably had unlimited food and access to food from this. And on top of that, unlimited access to children and young adults who are learning about health. That's what Subway kind of marketed their stuff to.
Subway Restaurants has 8 delicious sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less. At McDonald's, they have a great selection of sandwiches too. But if you get rid of everything with more than 6 grams of fat, you're not left with much. Not much at all.
We're hip and cool. We're like fast food, but it's hip and it's cool and it's a little healthier. Look at this guy who used to be really big, who used to be a person of size. Now he just has gigantic pants he carries everywhere with him.
And how's Jared these days? He's looking better than ever.
Yeah, Jared Fogle, $5 Subway footlong.
Congratulations, Jared. You're an inspiration to all of us.
Now, all that being said, at the height of this man's success, he was caught making some bizarrely sexual comments about middle school children, and that led to quite a few people being concerned.
Yeah, especially some in the middle school. I love the middle schools, and their girls are starting to get,
Yeah.
Because you know how much I love big, I love you.
Because making comments like that is concerning. Obviously. But it wasn't until his home was raided that he would finally be exposed for the monster that he is and put into jail. And that completely changed the way that America viewed him, I assume.
When was the last time a celebrity visited Quahog?
Jared Fogle.
Who?
The Subway guy, remember? He was here for a public appearance. Took a shine to Chris for some reason. Took him camping. Had these weird candies he'd only let Chris eat.
How come I don't remember any of this?
Yeah, too many video games, buddy. They're rotting your brains.
Get your hands off me, Jared!
And also the way people viewed Subway. I haven't been to Subway since. That shit ruined Subway for me, dude. What? He was doing what? I don't want to be like that guy at all. Shit, that guy a freak. He a damn pedo. He needs to be swinging from the gallows.
We're asking for students from elementary and middle school age students in the selected markets to be as creative as they can to show us how they stay active and fit. We want you to either complete a poster board, or we want you to complete a 30 to 60 second video to tell us how you stay fit and be as creative as you possibly can be. Also, a little funny side note. So you may have guessed that in this video, we're going to be talking about Jared Fogle. Well, we're also going to be talking about the story of Jared Fogle, which is a crazy story. And also Daniel Larson makes an appearance in this video as well, which is really exciting. And this is a
crazy setup. The whole thing is ridiculous. So what led Jared to his insane sexual perversions that have landed him in jail today? Well, guys, we're gonna get into it because this guy, once again, was the champion of the sandwich world in the whole 2000s. I remember him everywhere, seeing him everywhere, and I kind of didn't really, I heard about him going to jail and getting in trouble and stuff, but I just really didn't hear much about it after that, which leads me to believe that it's Big Sandwich trying to shut down the conversation. So it's my responsibility to blow the door off it. Jared Scott Fogle was once a baby. He was born August 23rd, 1977 to Norman and Adrian Fogle in Indianapolis and Indiana. Jared would grow up in a Jewish family and follow a very Jewish religious life. He would graduate from North Central High School in 1995 and attend Indiana University Bloomington the following fall. Jared, going into college, was a bit on the heavier side and he wanted to lose some weight. If you probably could have gathered that by all the context we've given thus far, he's the guy who holds the pants up. That's him. Yes, it's the cat's out of the bag. But not only did he lose weight, he did so using Subway, became a millionaire from it. Maybe the only guy ever to become a millionaire from losing weight. Has there been anyone else? I'm trying to think. Not really. Usually you just have to like eat a bunch of nasty food to make a career out of it and make yourself a freak. Be seen as a freak ass. So this journey is fascinating. This is obviously pre-pedo shit, or maybe, I'm not really sure, but it starts off pretty heartwarming. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real with you guys. If you take out the whole sexual perversion and taking him to the gallows and letting him atone for his sins, whatever the fuck you want to do with him, it's interesting. In April of 1999, Jared's former roommate, Ryan Coleman, would write an article for the Indiana Daily Student, a student-run newspaper. They're always cringe, by the way. This article was titled From Thick to Thin, and it chronicled his roommate's massive weight loss journey. Incredibly impressive. When Jared first arrived at IUB, he weighed about 425 pounds. That's a quarter of a ton.
This is Jared. He weighed 425 pounds.
This is home video of Jared Fogle, shown in the very first Subway commercial featuring the IU student in 2000.
We're not saying his diet is right for you.
He quickly became an inspiration and a successful pitchman for the company.
He also lived near a McDonald's and was overeating unhealthy food, which is, it's bad. It's bad for you, obviously. And living near a McDonald's doesn't just magically make you eat unhealthy food, but obviously for Jared, he fell into the supersize me type rhetoric and he was supersizing himself for a while. I want you all to comment down below and guess how you think Jared started losing weight. Was it because he's like, I've had enough of this? Or do you think it was because he moved away from the McDonald's and moved next to a Subway instead? So it was like purely convenience that made him lose weight. Well, if you guessed the latter of those two, you'd be correct, because as soon as Jared moved away from the McDonald's and moved towards a Subway, he ate 2 sandwiches a day and lost 245 pounds. Holy, that's a lot. That's incredibly impressive. That's so difficult, man. I mean, like, huge props. Aside from the whole pedo shit, that's awesome. Furthermore, the 2 sandwiches that Jared would claim he would eat every day were turkey sandwiches with no mayo, cheese, and with lots of vegetables in order to lose weight, and what he was calling the Subway diet. He would also have some Mountain Dew with every sandwich, which is pretty cool. Diet Mountain Dew, which is like actual battery acid. I don't understand how anyone, for one, drinks diet soda, but also Diet Mountain Dew. Are you sure? Do you have taste buds? Do you guys like diet soda, or do you prefer soda? Real soda? Comment down below. I understand it. I get it. I get diet soda. I'm not trashing diet soda. It's just I can't stand the flavor. I've never been able to stand it ever. My mom would drink Diet Coke with lime all the time, and I would taste it and be like, "Ooh, that's nasty." And sometimes my girlfriend drinks Coke Zero, and I'm like, "Oh shit, fuck. My brain needs sugar." All right, baby. It's like it runs off it or something. I'm not sure. I'm not a sugar salesman. Sugar's bad. Don't overeat sugar. If you like diet soda, absolutely. In the article, Jared's father is also quoted as saying that his son was going to die young because of his weight, which is an unfortunate reality. When you have that much stress in your body, you start to develop a list of metabolic syndromes, and each of those metabolic syndromes will compound and you will eventually succumb. That's what happens. You will succumb. You will succumb no matter what. Just for your information, you'll die no matter what, but this will be like 20 years earlier, which kind of sucks, but also, so, what? So what, bro? Who the cares? It's up to you. You enjoying life? Probably not, but still, who the cares? You're an individual. Do whatever you want. I'm just kidding. I would absolutely recommend everyone eat 2 Subway sandwiches every single day with a side of Sour Boys instead of a side of Diet Mountain Dew. And also, just to walk back that claim I just made about Sour Boys, I wouldn't eat Sour Boys every single day. It's candy. Moderation. Also, I'm joking a lot. I'm joking too much. Sorry, guys. I need to stop joking. This section of the article is clearly just there to amplify the sympathetic nature of Jared's situation. You know, he was close to death, and his achievement is that much more special and that much more successful because of the change that he made, the turnaround that he made. By the way, a lot of people have edema. It's like, doesn't mean you're gonna 100% die, to be honest. Basically, the point of it was try to make it seem more of a miracle than it actually was. Bro moved from McDonald's to Subway, which is cool, but that being your reasoning for a massive weight loss, kind of weird, you know? No discipline, no hard work or anything, just like eating the closest thing that's near you. I don't really get it, but oh well. Before DoorDash, I guess. I think if DoorDash was around, this wouldn't be a story. Because currently, I live next to nothing, and I eat shit all the time. The article would then go on to talk about how bad Jared's diet was, and that it was purely his Subway diet that caused him to lose all the weight. Lot of Subway glazing here, whole lot of it. The article ended by saying that Jared was reborn again, and that Subway had saved his life. Holy, that is crazy. I didn't know all that. I didn't know all that until we started making this video. And it's like, okay, Subway guy, he started a cult. This guy, Subway's like Jesus, sort of, in a way. Kind of an odd level of reverence for Subway. Good way to make a ton of money from a corporate entity, I've got to say, but whoa, it's weird. It's just a $5 footlong instead of a... Understandably, this heroic tale of Subway would catch the eye of Subway, the franchise, and they would bring it to the attention of Subway, the advertising agency. And from there, guys, Jared's life would completely change. Jared would get his first Subway commercial January 1st, 2000, which is right after all this shit happened.
Inspired by Subway's low-fat sandwiches, he invented a diet of his own, one he called the Subway diet.
The very first commercial actually highlights Jared's IUB Subway diet article thing, and it says this: "The Subway diet combined with a lot of walking worked for Jared. We're not saying this is for everyone. You should check with your doctor before starting any diet program, but it worked for Jared. Look at him."
We're not saying his diet is right for you. You should talk to your doctor first. But it is food for thought. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
What a fun, happy guy. With the dark side. With the dark side. He's got a terrible dark side, I've got to say. Dude's a huge piece of shit, seems like. Doesn't seem like, actually is. He's in jail. I think it's hilarious the way that they worded that first commercial. They're loving the Jared story, but they're like, hey man, talk to your doctor. We're still not buying the whole Subway thing being healthy. Subway itself is like, all right, let's hold off. I mean, Jared, look at him. He's pretty cool, but we're not saying that. It's Jared. It's just Jared saying that. He's down there. Look at him. He's got his big pants up. Dude's a legend. All right. He's got his huge pants. He could jump off a skyscraper and float down. Pretty sick. They clearly were aware of the lack of nutritional value that their food has. Apparently, it has more nutritional value than McDonald's, or maybe less nutritional value, so you just atrophy. Your body just wastes away because you're eating less. I don't know. Definitely consult with a doctor before going on any diet, though, for real. Especially if it's a primal diet or carnivore diet or a vegan diet or anything like that. That's crazy. I'd rather eat Subway. Just kidding. Just kidding. I just wanted to make a few people mad, probably. Needless to say, because we're talking about Jared 20 years on, 25 years on almost, the commercial was a massive success, and Jared became the Subway guy.
And you know what I tell people is, I still eat Subway occasionally, but I've just learned to eat in moderation. I try to get my exercise in on a pretty regular basis, and there's always excuses. You know, you can always have a million excuses out there, but you just got to finally put up and just do it.
I went to my trainer the other day, and it's a genuine story, and he said, wow, you're looking pumped, and I was really thrilled. And then he said, why are you so happy? I said, you said I look pumped. He went, no, plump.
Jared's appearance combined with his story is really what drew people to him and made him successful. He looked like a regular guy. He was very approachable, had a very punchable face, and some big pants that people could really relate to. This led people to believe that Jared's story was genuine and real. Genuine and legit. Real, 100%, and something that anyone could do. And all you had to do was just eat at Subway. Genius. Genius. Then, to further support Jared's story and continuously make people believe that they can achieve a level of Jared's success themselves, they would quickly release a new commercial highlighting Jared's friends who followed the diet as well and lost weight, similar to Jared.
Jared's always been an inspiration. Now it seems a lot of people are joining the team.
Feeling fine, it's a great time.
We're a Subway family now. We love Jared and Subway's taste. Come and join us, it's not too late.
Subway has 7 delicious sandwiches with just 6 grams of fat or less, including our new tasty honey mustard turkey with cucumber, with just 4 grams of fat.
The imagery at the end of this commercial is similar, very much so, to classic American propaganda. Uncle Sam points, I want you to die in the meat grinder on the beaches of Normandy. Seems like some subliminal propaganda to get you to consume more sandwiches, tied in with a likable ex-chubby guy. Pretty cool, pretty genius, TBH. Meanwhile, I say my goal is to get people addicted to my candy, and I get in trouble. That's not actually my goal, by the way, just for clarity. Also, making money is not actually my goal either. It's to make a lot of money. I'm just kidding, man. Just kidding. I took the dumbest path possible to make money and have a successful business. I mean, really, it's stupid. I'm not a good businessman. I'm not a good businessman at all. I'm no Jared Fogle. This shit is like always on the, just like teetering on failure. Another funny little thing to note is the fine print at the bottom of the Subway commercial that says, Subway is a trademark of Doctors Associates Incorporated. What's crazy about that line is that Doctors Associates Incorporated is the parent company of Subway. And the reason for this name is that one of the co-founders, Peter Buck, had a doctorate in physics from Bowdoin College located in Maine, and his other co-founder, Fred DeLuca, wanted to use the profit from the business to pay the tuition for his medical school degree. So it kind of seems like Subway is using their parent company's name as a form of accreditation for their claims of health, which is huge. Most people aren't going to look at Doctors Association Incorporated and be like, oh, that's actually just a guy trying to pay for his medical school. They're gonna be like, oh, Subway is actually a doctor thing, and doctors are making the sandwiches in the back. It's not. I probably shouldn't say that. It's a little rough for my channel. I feel like we're pretty lame nowadays. Come on, during Pride Month. My assumption here, this is all alleged. I have no idea why they would do this. I don't know if it's actually this, but it seems like to me, if I was a guy and I was real dumb and I was looking at this commercial, I was like, oh, it's cool. Doctors made the sandwiches. Doctors make those sandwiches. I see that Doctors Association, made by doctors. Cool, it's like the 7 out of 10 dentists recommend Colgate or whatever. That's how I would see it, you know? Bunch of doctors in lab coats made these sandwiches. They gotta be healthy. Look at this guy with the big pants. Shit, works. Look at this. Oh my God. It's a no-brainer now. Seems like all this Jared stuff's backed and supported by actual doctors. I don't really know if that was their intention or whatever, but it's kind of awesome. You know, I'm gonna do that with Sour Boys for sure. All of this furthered Jared's success and brought in even more money for Subway. Subway became a massive just hit in the early 2000s. Totally blew Quiznos out of the water. Quiznos is better in every way. It's a shame all them bitches closed down. I don't know where the fuck they went. There was one where I used to live and they just disappeared. I don't know where they went. Where'd they go? You guys still got Quizno down there? You still got Quizno down there? Subway riding the coattails of Jared. Jared would reach new heights of popularity that he would have never dreamed of having, especially from just losing weight by moving. It's a pretty big W. He was the spokesperson at the 2002 Subway 400, a NASCAR race held in Rockingham, North Carolina, sponsored by Subway. That's a big deal, dude. That's a huge deal.
All right, what's up, NASCAR fans? I don't know about y'all, but this President Obama is pissing me off. So I'm gonna do some dip and speak my mind. Today I'm gonna be dipping Vagisil regular strength anti-itch cream. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a big digger right there.
Jared seemingly kept a strong connection with NASCAR as he would continue to make commercials with NASCAR drivers for many, many, many years to come. This is probably because a lot of people in the South will eat Subway. If you just drive on 40 or 35 or 81 or 95 or any of these giant interstates in the South or the East, there's Subways everywhere. Every single Flying J, every single Loves, they all got Subways in them. Every single one of them. There's apparently a lost commercial of Jared and driver Tony Stewart that aired in 2007, which is kind of cool. Tony Stewart, absolute legend.
Tony Stewart here with my buddy Jared. And the tasty 6-inch sweet onion chicken teriyaki from Subway restaurants. Make it part of a new Subway Fresh Fit meal with new better-for-you sides and drinks like apple slices, raisins, and milk. Pick one up today. Subway, race hard, eat fresh.
He's kind of known for some badass shit. In the heat of the night, in the golden. Jared would also be spotted like some kind of SCP at numerous races wearing Subway racing suits and hanging out with the Subway crew, you know. Big guy in the NASCAR is huge. I didn't realize how big. I grew up in the South, kind of, and NASCAR is gigantic in the South. Grew up in Appalachia, not really the South. Guess technically south of the Mason-Dixon, but like still, you know, not really that south. Jared, for some reason, also was able to carry the Olympic torch in the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. Now, there's no video or photo evidence of this, unfortunately, but he was confirmed to be one of the 12,000 torchbearers. There are multiple sources confirming that. This is obviously stuff, by the way, for Jared. It's just to give you an idea of how massively famous he was. This guy was a legend in the early 2000s. In 2002, Jared's popularity would even reach Saturday Night Live, where Jared was played by Jimmy Fallon, the funniest person to ever live. And the joke of this skit is where Jared and his followers would go to an alternative restaurant called Sub Shack, where they all regained their weight. Funny.
This is me 6 months ago. I always wanted to wear pants like this. Now I can't, because I went back to Sub Shack.
To Sub Shack. Hi, Jared. We knew you'd be back.
My idea of a balanced diet is to have all my favorite red meats in one sandwich. Thanks, Sub Shack.
That same year, Jared would be mentioned on South Park in an episode called Jared Has AIDS. And instead of losing the weight from Subway, it says that he lost the weight due to AIDS, which is a reference to the sexually transmitted disease.
I'm standing out front of the mayor's office where the big liar Jared is once again about to speak. Apparently, Jared hopes to regain his celebrity hero status, which was lost when he announced that it was AIDS, not sub sandwiches, that caused him to lose weight.
But in actuality, he's referring to his hired fitness aides. So it's like a very funny joke as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, at first I didn't understand why you felt betrayed by the fact that my aides helped me to lose weight. But now I understand that it's because it isn't fair that I had AIDS and most of you don't. And so, with all the money I made from commercials, I have decided to start the AIDS for Everyone Foundation. What?
In 2003 at the Fiesta Bowl, Jared got to do the coin flip, which is one of the most prominent college football bowl games. So pretty giant W for Jared there. By the way, supposedly this happened. There's no video or photo evidence. Seeing is believing. We couldn't find that shit. In 2006, Mr. Fogle would also write a book called Jared the Subway Guy, Winning Through Losing 13 Lessons for Turning Your Life Around, which was highly rated by audiences. I've even got a copy. Just kidding. That was a lie. Point is, truly nothing that Jared can't accomplish. The guy's a absolute legend, and he's unstoppable for a time. Subway, also unstoppable. They saw massive success from the Jared commercials. So much success that he should have been part of the board, given some equity, something along those lines. This dude made Subway what it is. It kind of made it what it is today, sort of, I think. In 2004, Subway began to open up restaurants inside of Walmarts, eventually surpassing McDonald's stores within Walmarts, which for the mid-2000s, crazy. Furthermore, Subway saw more stores being opened and sales grow exponentially with the use of the Jared campaign. So they were both mutually benefiting from one another. Jared would eat the sandwich, and then the sandwich place would make the sandwich, and then a bunch of people would buy the sandwich because Jared was eating the sandwich. Huge. Parasitic cycle of life here. Parasitic cycle of life. From nothing came something. So through all this success, there were no signs of stopping or slowing down, and Jared brought Subway to be constantly ranked on the Entrepreneur Franchise 500 list since 2007, which is such a big deal. Such a big deal. I want to get on that list so bad. It's like Forbes 30 under 30. Oh, it means so much. I love it. Oh, yeah. Jared was a star, mainly of Subway commercials. Not a lot of video footage or evidence of him doing a lot of other stuff. Apparently did a lot of stuff, but it was the Subway commercials were the main thing, and this would last for years. Shortly after the release of Jared's first commercial, Subway released the You Remember Jared commercial, which was to remind the viewer of Jared's success and his special Subway diet that he invented. Not Subway. Not the Doctors Incorporated Association or whatever but Jared, okay? It's so funny. I love that shit.
You remember Jared.
I used to be out to about here.
He weighed 425 pounds.
And at least to here.
Until he invented the Subway diet.
And now I'm like this.
Hey, Jared.
Hey, guys.
Congratulations, Jared. You're an inspiration to all of us.
And similarly to the Jared's Friends commercial, Subway would release another commercial talking about all the people who Jared had helped.
Remember Jared from Subway? He's inspired a lot of people.
And this seems like a common theme through most of Jared's early commercials, as they would continue to release subsequent commercials showcasing people who followed Jared's Subway diet and lost a bunch of weight. And they're like, remember Jared? Well, here he is again. And then they're like, check out all these people who remember Jared and followed the Subway diet and lost a bunch of weight. Look at their pants. Look at all these pants we got.
To help with Subway's low-fat sandwiches and exercise, summer's looking good for a lot of people.
Feeling good, having fun in the sun. Subway's taste is #1. Look at us now, we're living right. And we owe it to the man who showed us the light.
And how's Jared these days? He's looking better than ever.
That's all I can remember is that big set of pants he's got. I'd love to have a set of pants that much. How do pants that are that big cost the same as small pants? Answer me that riddle. That shit, they can't, the margin's gotta be razor thin. You're spending $45 on just material. So much cheaper to just buy giant pants than it is to buy blankets and shit. Just buy a bunch of giant clothes. I'm so frugally minded, I always buy quad XL. It's rarely more expensive. If so, it's probably $2 more, but you get so much more fabric. I really, I recommend it. In a commercial that was released back in 2002, they showed a woman talking about Subway's Jared helping her lose weight. Pretty cool.
I'm feeling better and it makes me smile. Thanks to Subway's Jared, I have a whole new style.
That demonstrated the cultural impact that Jared's story had on the US. And it was quite a cultural difference. To evolve that general successful idea that they rehashed multiple times, the next kind of commercial that Subway would have Jared make is Jared praising Subway for their healthy ingredients and then shitting on Burger Joint. Wow, that's funny. Low, but funny.
No wonder so many people are leaving the burger joints and coming over to the great taste of Subway subs. Because when you really think about it, they don't make the sandwiches, you do. Subway, eat fresh.
During all this, Subway was still using their awesome parent company as a way to confirm their healthy products well into 2004 and 5, which is so funny. How are they allowed to do that? You shouldn't be able to have the word, it's like saying a chiropractor is a doctor. I mean, come on, man. It takes like a week to get that shit. That's easy. Not to shit on chiropractors, obviously, but a little bit though, a little bit. In a commercial from 2005, Jared specifically called out Burger King, the other fast food chain, for the amount of fat in their chicken sandwich compared to Subway's chicken sub.
It says here that a Burger King Tender Crisp chicken sandwich has 45 grams of fat. 45? This oven roasted chicken breast sandwich at Subway restaurants, it has 5 grams of fat. This is real chicken.
Are you allowed to just call people out? I feel like that's kind of rude. Just like, Burger King sucks and eats ass. And Subway likes Snatch and Wet Monkey Scalp. All right? Or whatever. I really don't know. It just seems like weird marketing. I don't know a lot about marketing. I really don't. I'm such an idiot. Jared then also wore a fat suit and ripped his flesh from his body to reveal the health effects of Subway sandwiches. Good move.
And I realized I could enjoy lots of great tasting food without lots of fat.
Another big part of Jared's campaign was traveling across America and spreading good eating habits to children. And this is when things start to get scary, okay guys? So far, when you watch the commercials, it's obvious that the main demographic is adults, and in many of the commercials, it shows adults who have lost weight following the Subway diet. But what about children? Can they benefit from Jared Fogle's Subway diet? I'm sure Jared can benefit from children being able to benefit from his Subway diet. In 2004, Jared founded the Jared Foundation, a nonprofit organization which centered around combating childhood obesity through providing educational tools to schools and parents to help explain healthy eating habits and how to combat childhood obesity, a rising problem, a problem that still is rising to this very day. And I would agree, educational tools, that's number one. Educational tools, access, healthy food, those two things are massively important, and those two things are not that common. It's a huge problem. One without an easy solution. Thankfully, we've got Jared. As time went on and Jared gained more and more success, Subway was looking for more and more ways to branch out and reach even more people. They decided to send Jared on a quest across this great nation to have him visit elementary schools and high schools to talk to kids about eating healthy and, of course, purchasing those delicious, healthy Subway sandwiches. Jared would appeal to children by using his recognizable TV persona to teach them healthy eating habits. What a relatable guy. Look at his big pants.
One of the things I'd love to do is to come to schools like yours and speak to you guys, because I'll tell you what, we have a serious problem right now with kids your age putting on more and more weight than ever before.
Jared's appearances were so influential that they had faculty like the principal dress up in Subway merch to further entice the children to adhere to Jared's influence. He was the first big-time influencer, really, if you look at it in a kind of a narrow-minded, ignorant way. In Jared's speeches, he would always bring his pants, talk about how he lost the weight. I love those pants, dude. His pants are probably valuable. Getting some Jared pants, probably be pretty valuable at this point. You had like a vintage set of Jared pants, maybe it wouldn't be that valuable because he's in jail. Another large talking point that Jared always covered was talking about how excessive video game usage is a problem and that kids should play outside.
Kids want to look good, they want to feel good. It's a matter of empowering them and saying, hey, you know what? If there's a few simple choices that you make every day that can make a big difference.
Video games are awesome. They uplift people. They bring people together. It's a social element to it. Everything is fine in moderation, Jared. The kids absolutely should play outside and touch grass, you know. Probably more so. There's no need to moderate that. Should moderate video games more than you should moderate going outside and touching grass. Jared was such a rock star and a popular TV personality that he also made it into Morgan Spurlock's famous Super Size Me documentary, which we mentioned in the very beginning.
So without further ado, let's welcome Jared Fogle.
The spirit of Jared was specifically invoked by Super Size Me to relate to healthy eating initiatives. Everything that he does aligns with the main plot of the documentary, which talks about how unhealthy fast food, specifically McDonald's, was making America. He's a natural fit. I'm surprised they didn't have him do Super Size Me.
My big thing was never smoking, it was never drinking, obviously it wasn't doing drugs. My big vice was food.
So it seems like Jared's message had a positive effect on the youth of America. Having a famous TV personality and come to your school and talk to you would be a cool ass experience for children. Plus his messages were positive. They were generalized, basic information that anyone with a functioning brain would know. However, it is still positive. The very definition of it is positive. And based on that clip from the Spurlock documentary, which I am hesitant to show because my whole video was claimed by them, and I was like, hey, this is fair use, you know, I feel like this is an additional commentary, and they're like, no, we'll take your video down if you say anything. So hopefully they don't take my video, hopefully they don't watch this and then take my video down. But seems like from the Spurlock documentary that the girl that was interviewed liked what Jared had said, and she also recognized that what Jared did was expensive and not always possible based on your income because he's eating a lot of sandwiches from Subway, and that's expensive.
Because I can't afford to like go there every single day and buy a sandwich like 2 times a day. And that's what he's talking about, like that's the only solution.
And that's a point that Spurlock also highlighted by talking about how the prices of fast food are draining people's wallets, which is true and sad. And still, man, there's a crisis, a living crisis, cost of living. I wish I could give away my candy for free. I think about that a lot. Like, how much lower can I make the price? But we literally cannot. I need to raise the price of it. I will not, but I need to badly. Oh my God, it's so expensive to run a business and hard and scary. I wish I could just Jared Fogle it and be the spokesman. Just make a bunch of money and not have any skin in the game. But it seems like that's the way out, so I'm not gonna do that. So, things would take a turn for the worst in 2007 when Jared would visit a school and make some incredibly questionable remarks about some of the female students there. This would lead down a dark-ass road that would further on lead to the downfall of the Fogle empire. Okay, guys? And kind of Subway in general as a brand. You can't really build your whole thing around one guy and then that guy get taken down and not take a bit of a hit yourself. Once again in 2007, bad year for Jared overall. He would be on one of his tours where he would visit schools and talk to a bunch of children, and along the way he was interviewed by Rochelle, a Florida journalist, full name Rochelle Herman Walrond, but I don't like saying it, so I'm just gonna call her Rochelle. Rochelle was also a radio host who was looking to have a regular interview with a celebrity. And this time, Jared Fogle. Things would go awry, though, during their interview, and it would lead to a much larger stink fest, a much bigger problem. For some reason, in the interview, Jared would allude to his sexual attraction to children, specifically middle schoolers, and Walrond, aka Rochelle, would have another interview shortly after the first where Jared would confirm that's what he said the first time that he was interviewed. From then on, Rochelle decided to follow Jared and wear a wire, as well as collect evidence through text messages and emails from Jared in regard to this disgusting revelation. She even recorded Jared saying that he wanted to S-word minors and having S-word with minors, and also asked if she would put a webcam in her own children's rooms, which is insane. Absolutely disgusting and insane. Blood-chillingly disgusting. Subway even admitted that a report was made to them by Rochelle in 2011, but they never did anything about it, probably because of the money that was rolling in. Probably most likely, that's usually where it falls back on. Where's the money lead? They're idiots. When Walrond reported all of this information to the FBI, they said that they couldn't do anything with it because they apparently needed more substantial evidence against Mr. Fogle in order to charge him or really pounce on him, which seems like a problem. They don't really like arresting rich, unfortunately. A very ironic little twist to this situation, you know, Jared escaping the FBI in spite of there being loads of evidence. About a year later, after Walrond came forward the first time, Jared gave commentary on an episode of To Catch a Predator. You know, the show where they catch predators, and in that episode, he clowned on child predators for always coming back and getting caught. Wow, very ironic.
These guys continue to fall for it every single time. There must be like 100 million episodes of the show, and these guys still come out.
Jared would remain a free man with a clean record and continue to make commercials and talk with children.
He actually came here to talk to the kids today, and he's also helping out with the Oklahoma City Diet Weight Challenge.
And his career would continue to blow up, and his success would continue to move forward. Jared would also go on to make cameos and appear in movies. He was in Jack and Jill, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Really, it's fascinating. How does it work, Mr. Subway Sandwich? Just tell me more.
Just Jared's fine.
The TV show Community.
Okay, I should have written this out. I thought I'd be able to come up with something on the fly.
He made multiple cameos in the Sharknado movies, but was cut from Sharknado 3 after he was arrested. So, you know, common Jared L. He even continued to make Subway commercials up until 2015. And the following commercial is confirmed to be Jared's last commercial before ties were cut.
Hi, I'm Jared the Subway guy, and this is my story.
What's creepy about this commercial is that he talks about his own children and emphasizes helping children.
Guy now has 2 kids, and even more reason to pass on better eating habits to young people everywhere.
He's probably trying to cover up the fact that his initiative to help children is actually just an initiative driven by his mind. In July of 2015, the Indiana State Police and the FBI would arrive at Fogle's home and arrest him there.
It was quite a shock to see this. FBI and state police raiding Jared Fogle's mansion Tuesday.
He was arrested on charges of distribution and receipt of CP. Evil. Piece of shit. He should just be dead. Anyways, along with Jared being physically removed from the property, all of his electronic devices, computers, everything was removed and searched. And shortly after Jared's arrest, Subway would announce that they had cut ties with him and remove any trace of him from their branding or their websites. The Jared Subway empire finally came crashing down. So this was almost a decade later. What possibly could have changed in 10 years from what happened in 2007? What evidence did the FBI have now that they didn't have before? How the did this slip through the cracks for such a long time? Someone so high profile should be investigated thoroughly, I'd say. I mean, it just makes sense. The guy has so much power and influence, you'd think that he would be the first one you would actually care about investigating, but I have no idea. I'm just an idiot YouTuber. Well, the big difference is that the FBI had continued to investigate Jared and everyone around him during that time, and they continued over time. This included people working in his charity, especially the executive director, Russell Taylor. Taylor was apprehended shortly before Fogle's arrest for similar charges. It was discovered that this guy had a child ring where he filmed kids and 6 years old, and even his own stepdaughters. It's like, it is just unbelievable that there isn't like a quick answer to that problem. They're a burden on us. They're a burden on us taxpayers. Wild stuff. Anyways, this guy Taylor, the executive director of Jared's foundation, was distributing this to Jared and the computers from within Taylor's home. They found a link to Jared and vice versa. It's absolutely disgusting. Taylor was sentenced to 27 years in prison on 7 counts of production of CP and 1 charge of possession. As soon as Taylor's arrest went public, Jared and his foundation tried to save face and act surprised about the allegations brought up against the executive director. They what? That's so bad. Come on, bro. It eventually caught up to Jared. Justice never rests. Karma is real. You will die in flames at the end. You will die. All the people you hurt will act as character witnesses. At the end, you will die. Repent. Repent. Furthermore, our old friend Rochelle's evidence was being reused in this case, the new case against Fogle, and after their first interaction in 2007, she would continue to wear a wire and be an unofficial FBI informant, which is badass. Rochelle is a legend. In court, the FBI never specifically said that Walren's accounts were being used. However, it was clear that they were using her recordings. So, pretty cool. The case got even deeper and more disturbing when the FBI subpoenaed texts between Jared and a Subway franchisee named Cindy Mills in 2008. In these texts, Jared would actually talk about his and he also had a relationship with a franchisee, which is insane. Bro's a freak. With this whole interaction, Jared even went as far as to pressure Mills into posting herself and her 60-year-old cousin on Craigslist looking for. So Jared was a freak all around. Freak ass freak. What the what's wrong with this guy? Fortunately, Mills never went through with it, but this information was still revealed through the subpoenaed texts. There's even more, though, that makes this whole thing even worse. Jared's ex-wife said that Subway knew of Jared's interest as early as 2004, but didn't want to kill the hype profits that Jared was bringing in at the time, which is crazy if true. That Doctors Association, man, they should have looked into it. Whilst Jared's investigation was blowing up and going public, Walren would go on Dr. Phil, where she shared the recorded phone calls between her and Jared. Massive, giant episode of Dr. Phil. The tapes were shown on all sorts of television outlets, CBS This Morning, CBS New York.
You know, this was just happened.
With Jared's own voice being shared publicly to push forward this true narrative that the man is a predator, he had been successfully exposed to the entire world, and the whole world turned on him immediately. Rightfully so. Jared pled guilty to 1 count of distribution and receipt to CP and 1 count of traveling to engage in illicit conduct with a minor. He was sentenced to serve 15 years and 8 months in prison. Should be more, I feel like, because it's probably, there's more information. If he knew about this, he had a child. I mean, this is crazy. Should be like forever and ever, probably, because he fully approved of the work that Russell Taylor was doing, including soliciting minors, and he agreed to help receive and distribute all this stuff. Just absolutely disgusting. These guys were working in cahoots with one another. They should both be in jail forever or be buried under the jail or whatever you want to say. I don't really know. I don't want to get like angry, really, but like, you know, worthless pieces of shit. Jared also agreed to pay about $100,000 to each of his victims, and in total that would amount $1.4 million. I don't know how much money he's worth though, probably more than that. So I think they should Alex Jones him and just bankrupt him and take all his money, you know, and use it for, take all his assets, his money, everything. Use it for good. Jared is also now required to register for the Sex Offenders Registry and undergo psychiatric evaluation. From his examination, it was concluded that Jared had successfully replaced his lust for food, his big pants, with a hypersexuality and desire for minors, which is weird. Because of this, Jared now has to have officers present when he visits his own children in prison, when his own children come to visit him. This guy is a giant loser. After he pled guilty, even his old high school removed his picture from their alumni hall of fame, which is legendary. Jared would be initially held in Henderson County, Kentucky, before being transferred to the Federal Correctional Institution in Englewood, Colorado. Little funny note I mentioned at the beginning, we're finishing it, we're closing up the story here. Jared Fogle and Daniel Larson are now both being housed at FCI Englewood as of May 31st, 2024. They could literally be cellmates and see each other on a regular basis. That's crazy. Two pedos loving each other. Since his incarceration, Jared has had numerous lawsuits levied against him from parents of victims that have sued him for personal injury and emotional distress. It's pretty awesome. Hopefully they win all those. I think they've won a lot of them. Now on to something really funny that we can all join in unison to laugh at Jared because of this. In 2017, he had a fellow inmate put together a case stating that himself, Jared Fogle, his trial was wrong because Fogle was a sovereign citizen, a traveler, if you will. Have you seen those videos? A sovereign citizen. I am a sovereign citizen of the United States of America. I am allowed to lose copious amounts of weight using the Subway diet and then create a foundation for children and then become a... So yeah, that's pretty stupid. And Jared's most recent interaction with the media was in 2021, where he had an interview with the New York Post in which he basically stated, literally, he said, I really screwed up to wind up where I am right now. I very much look forward to restarting my life and enjoying every moment with my family who have stood by and supported me. Oh yeah, is that right? Is that right? You sick, disgusting... So, in conclusion, Jared Fogle had the world at his fingertips, and it turned out he was a piece of shit. A massive, gigantic piece of shit. He was viewed as America's sweetheart, maybe a little extra loose skin, a little extra skin around the sides, big pants every now and then. People loved Jared. People loved his message. However, his lust for food was replaced with a lust for something illegal. And eventually the skeletons would come pouring out of the closet. Subway and their empire they built with Jared came crumbling down as well. Came pouring down like a bunch of skeletons. Anyways, not a big fan of Subway, not a big fan of Jared. Anyways, thanks for watching.